enables, what gives us the whole concept of ownership. You can own a property. You can own a piece of the world. How can you own a piece of the world? So in the world, it's by convention, because we agreed that if you're not going to touch it, we're going to protect it. No, you can own a piece of the world because the neighbor said you can own a piece of the world. He said, I created the earth and I gave it to the human beings. And the human being, if he, in the proper process, he can own a piece of the world. He's still owning it under God's jurisdiction. You understand? He doesn't own it from its inception. He owns it because the Abba created the world, and the Abba gave him the right to own. This is what the Torah says. Now, what's it in the Torah? Because you may not sell a piece of property for eternity. It has to revert back to its original owner after 50 years. Why? Because the land is mine. That's what it says in the Torah. You familiar with that posik? Mm-hmm. You have the right to do anything you want by my consent. I give you the passport. Then it's real. Okay. Okay, let's go on. So now you answer your question, Yeshua.
Yes.
Okay, we have the place, hopefully, yeah. It says in Yitzchak, that before all, in the beginning of all, there was a supreme oir. Poshut means without any content, definitive content. And that oil filled the entire Metzius. Which means that in the entire Metzius there was clear that there is this supreme presence. Supreme presence means, oil and poshut means, let me explain to you a very simple illustration of what poshut. Poshut means, see, this page is printed. Therefore, this page has been defined to contain these letters and this content. This page is blank. Does this page contain anything?
Blank.
It's blank. It doesn't contain anything. But as such, it contains everything. Everything that's printable, everything that's writable is allowed by this page because it's undefined. You understand what I'm saying? You can write here anything you want. The page will not protest at all. Just means poshut. Poshut means that it has everything, not it has nothing. This page has nothing. It's true because it's with the page. But the concept of poshut is it has everything. To such an extent that there is nothing here. The principle that has nothing there is that there is no limit. Okay?
Mm.
So there was oil, alien poshut. This is the supreme oil. That is poshut, which means it is everything and nothing at the same time. It is everything because it is nothing, because it has absolutely no limits. Memale kol makim achol, kol hamtzius. Memale kol hamtzius, and fill the whole mitzvahs. I want you to understand that this is not just a play on words. You know, there's nothing there, therefore you can put anything in. There's a very profound significance of this. The significance, to express the significance of this is that not only it allows for anything, but it actually gives support to anything. And the support is so fundamental that whatever it supports has this pshitus presence. To explain this in tangible terms is like this. The earth is, the Abba created the earth, this is what everything is built. Now, how do we build things on the earth? There are many ways. But one principle I want to demonstrate. You can build a wall standing like this. And then it will have all kinds of supports so that it shouldn't fall down. This wall is not supported by the earth. It's supported by your artificial supports. If you build a wall in a manner that its center of gravity, everybody knows what that is, adjusts with the earth, then it has a fundamental presence support. It's supported by the entire earth, not by the cables that hold it up. You understand? This is a concept of poshut. It gives it a positive presence, which now this thing as present is as true as that which supports it. When this thing is sitting on the earth, it is as solid on the earth as the earth itself. It unites with the center of gravity of the earth itself. Doesn't have to be supported. You don't say the earth is supporting this. It is on the earth. It's one with the earth. This is the concept of poshut. So there was an oil alien poshut, the malakol hamtzius. This one poshut is malakol hamtzius, filling the whole mitzias, and therefore it gives this pshitus presence for everything. And therefore, in that Metzius, there was not Rosh V'Sof and the beginning or an end, up and down. Because what? Because this oil alien poshut is is the same shittas everywhere. This oil alien poshut, two more lines, a few more words. Hainu, which means that oil was not possible to be accepted and presented in an oil pnimi manner. Oil pnimi means that you can explain how this exists. It's a beginning and a middle and an end. If this is bipshitus, it is there because of reality itself. There's no way that it can be taken in and internalized. Coming back to our example of adjusting to the gravitational pull of the Earth, is there a way to explain how this is sitting on the Earth? And this is sitting on the Earth, you can explain. This is sitting on the Earth, there's no way. This is just a reality. It cannot be any other way. But you're not really explaining anything. Oil pnimi means, the principle of pnimi is that you're explaining how things are and how they're not. It is this way and not that way. That's the first principle of pnimi. You're grasping it. But that which cannot but be in a certain way, it cannot be very pnimi. This union that this is sitting on the earth is not a presence. It's just a reality of the earth itself. Just as you cannot explain how the earth is, how you can explain this, how this is. So therefore, this oil alien, this was called the oil shenifnei hatzimtzum. That literally has no means of relating to world. Because what is the principle of world? The principle of world is that there is a structure. One thing holding up the other. There's a first, second, and third. There's a way to explain how this works, how this stands. That's world. In very simple terms, Milo Mato and Kitimo V'yicher, first and second. I mean, world is it has two ingredients: time and space. Anything in the world has to have a time, which means it has a time when it started and for how long it exists, and where it stands, where it began. That's the principle of world. Just as, and this is not a grasp of the meaning from world, but to demonstrate. We say that our thoughts on the world level. When we think a seichel, we think. So our thoughts are in the world, because every thought has a moment when it started, and the process of thought and moment it ends, and what its conclusion is. That's in world. But the koyach ha-seichel itself, the ability for us to conceptualize, that's not world. It doesn't have a beginning or an end. This is just the reality that is in our neshama. Like demonstrated and point out the phenomenon of a man lying in the gutter. Never, completely distraught, completely out of it. And we all understand that this man is still a human being. There's no way he can lose that. It's not I think according to him. And if you come and tell him, come, I'll pick you up, he says, leave me alone. But he's lying. He's still a human being. Because this thing that is a human being is a godly phenomenon. This is not something that he developed. And if that cannot change. This is what he's saying, that this oil, this is that preceded the Tzimtzum, this is oil alien poshut, literally poshut in the most absolute sense. And therefore there is no oil pnimi element in it. There's absolutely no way to describe this oil. Can you describe this? But this is within a worldly context. Relative to this, it's poshut. This is not poshut in the real sense of the word.